So there she is. There's the Cub project, as you can see. I ordered front wheel bearings and all that stuff for it to make it a roller, and they're the wrong ones, so I'm quite frustrated with that whole thing. But yeah, here's the frame. I started wire wheeling kind of up on the front horns there and everything, but without having the door open, it just fills full of dust in here quick, and that shit's nasty to breathe. But I think, I'm not sure yet. I gotta look more into it, but I think I might Z-frame this, where you cut it and then you basically custom fabricate a rear horn with a, you know, support bar and all that stuff, and then you cut the front and step that up. So basically all you gain from it is just a lower ride height. I'm not positive on that yet. I'm not sure. I think I might do it, but at the same time, I don't know. I saw a rat rod about a year ago at our local gas station, and it wasn't lowered or nothing, Z-framed, and it looked pretty good. So I don't know. And yes, that bend in the frame is supposed to be there. It's not bent, but yeah, for being a 32, this frame is in really good shape. I don't think, regardless if I step it or not, I don't think I'm going to use this rear end piece. I think I'm going to kind of do away with that and make a custom one. The front end is probably going to stay mostly the same, and just put a hot rod axle or something in it. I'm not sure. I'd kind of like to have A-arms with the shock, you know, and everything, but I don't know. We might just go with the straight rat rod or hot rod axle with the coilover shocks and all that. And they do have a leaf in there, so I don't even know if they got to be coilover. I'm still learning all this stuff. But yeah, I think this will be a fun project. I'm not in any hurry. You know, I don't have a bunch of money to just throw at it, so it's going to take some time. But I think it'll be a cool little series. Once I really get going on it, I think I'll make dedicated videos. But for right now, I'll just throw them into these videos. I've been missing filming and making videos, so. But yeah, so there she is. I'm thinking I'd like to find a coupe cab, like a Ford coupe cab. I'm thinking a 302. I'd love to build a Ford flathead to put into it, but they're very rare and they're very expensive to rebuild and build up and everything else. So I'm thinking just a regular old 302. I'd like to have a 5-speed transmission. I've got a Ford 9-inch rear end for it. They came out of an old race car of mine. Obviously the gears aren't going to work that's in it, but a ring and pinion is a lot better than buying, you know, a whole rear end and all that jazz. But anyways, still not sure on the front end yet whether I'm going to do the straight axle or try to do an A-arm configuration. But yeah, I'd like to have a coupe body. They're hard to find. Ones that you do find for a decent price are pretty shot. The ones that you find that aren't shot, they want ridiculous money for. So that's still to be determined. But I'd really like to keep everything Ford. Being a Ford guy and being a Ford frame and all that stuff, nothing against anybody, but the people that build these Ford hot rods and rat rods and put Chevy motors in them just makes me cringe. I get it though. I mean, they're readily available. They're cheap to build. They're, you know, a good engine. I ran Chevy small blocks in my race cars forever, so I'm not dogging on them. It's just I don't like a Chevy motor in a Ford. But anyways, yeah, I'm gonna work on this a little bit more. Camera battery's about to die, so I'm gonna have to change it and might do a little bit more wire wheeling. I don't know where my respirator is, but maybe, I don't know, crack the door or something. But anyways, that's what I've been tinkering on. So if I cut this frame all apart, I gotta make I got to make some center line, well, a center line, and then the wheelbase, I'm going to have two 90-degree lines to it, if that makes any sense. But I'm thinking I'm probably going to end up Z-ing it. I think I'll be happier with it in the end. But it looks like this is like a 103 and maybe a half. I don't know. I gotta get a frame and square and come down off of it and stuff. But I don't know. I could probably look that up too. But yeah, I think I'm going to do that. That way, if you've got the lines on the floor, front axle, rear axle, in the center, then you can always reference it, you know, depending on what you do. If you do something and take it off and weld on it or cut on it or grind on it and put it back, then you can always get it back to where it's perfect. But there's also a lot of things like all these brackets here. I can cut the rivets and get rid of all that. I'm not going to need that. A lot of people I see cut this piece down. That doesn't have to be sticking way up in the air. You can cut this piece down, trim that down for clearance and all that. I'm definitely going to end up boxing the frame, I think. Whether it's most of it or all of it, I'm not sure. The frame varies so much. I feel like it's going to be quite a process to do the whole thing, but I would like the whole thing boxed. I don't know. But with that being said, by the time, if I Z it, by the time I cut it back here, you know, this whole back piece will be box steel anyway. And then where you Z it here will be box steel. We're still going to use the front horns and all that stuff. This part will go away. That won't be any use to us at that point. I don't think this cross member is going to work from the research I've done. I don't think it's going to work with the transmission I'm going to run, hopefully. So I think I'm going to have to build a custom cross member there with a mount and all that. So what I'd like to do, I need to find a motor because I got to get it mocked up and build the motor mounts and transmission mount and all that. But with those lines on the floor, you can also reference where your engine's sitting, if your tranny's straight, you know, and all that stuff. So I don't know. I think that's going to be the route I go. The problem is you watch so many videos on YouTube and stuff, and everybody has their own idea and different idea, and so you get a plan in your head, and then all of a sudden it's like, well, that's kind of cool. Maybe I'll do that. Well, that's kind of cool. So I don't know. The plan's probably going to change 150 times before it's complete. But another thing I got to do is weld this front cross member solid. It's only bolted or riveted or whatever they did back in the 30s. So I got to weld that solid. And yeah, a lot of frame work, but it's doable. Just a little time, a little patience, and a little plasma cutting and welding. We can certainly get it done. But I'm excited. I think it'll be fun. I really, really wish, and maybe I will. Maybe I'll put the brakes on a little bit. You know, still get the frame all cleaned up and everything, whatever. But I may put the brakes on a little bit because I don't have a body for it yet. I don't know what cab I'm using and everything, so I really hate to Z the frame and all that and then get a cab and not have it work. So I don't know. Maybe I'm putting the cart before the horse right now, but either way, we got a frame we can wire wheel and get brackets off. I know I'm not going to use them brackets. I know it's got to get wire wheeled. I know that's got to get welded in. So yeah, we'll stay busy for a little while. Hopefully I can get the right parts for this tractor and get back on it, because it'd be nice to have this in the middle of the garage and not stuffed off into all that junk. But I don't know, we'll see. That's kind of what intrigued me about rat rods, is you can just do whatever you want. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be beautiful, doesn't, you know, you basically build whatever you think is cool and run with it. So we'll see what it turns into. So basically what I'm doing here is I see a lot of people taking this 3-inch channel or 3-inch 2x3 and wherever, see, the problem I'm having is all these videos you see on YouTube, everybody has great ideas, but they don't give you any measurements. So basically what I'm seeing and hearing is that the 3-inch channel or 2x3 box steel, this frame tapers. So wherever that 3-inch gets tight, that's where they're making their 22.5-degree cut and Z-ing it. And I haven't really heard the same up front. That's where I say, like, I'd like to have a cab and a motor mocked up and all that, just so I'm sure. I mean, I'm not afraid to cut things apart, but it's just, you know, why not be sure the first time? But so I don't know. I do have the rear end and all that stuff. I have some shocks and coils and all that. Probably not the ones I'm going to use, but they're good enough for mock-up. So I could probably get the rear clip built, but I'm not sure. I got to do more research on the front. If any of you guys have any ideas or measurements or whatever, let me know. But I'm pretty sure I got to have the motor and all that stuff before I can figure that out. But yeah, so everything I've seen is you find that spot, and 22.5 up, 22.5 again. That obviously equals, or no, 22.5 to 22.5 is 45. 22.5 is another 45. 45 and 45 is 90. Good Lord, it's been a long day. But anyways, yeah, we could probably start doing that. But like I say, tonight, if I can stay awake, I'm going to do a little more research just to be positive. First time ever doing this, so you guys are going to learn with me, I guess. Yeah, any information, tips, tricks, information, knowledge, whatever, let me know. Because I'm learning literally right now.
Exacting projects to life with
take a look at this shit show.
Indoors will inspire you to create with confidence and allow you to deliver with distinction.
Ay, ay, ay. I got some new shelves from work that they were going to throw out, so I kind of rearranging everything here. That used to be over there. Those blue shelves used to be over here. But getting it put together.
Deals on custom tires, rims, and accessories to get you rolling.
Well, what we have here is the old Ford 9-inch. Come out of the race car. I had to take off all the bird cages and stuff that we're not going to be needing, obviously, for the rat rod project. The bearings and all that stuff look okay. I think I'm going to be able to clean them up and use them. Obviously the studs are a bit long for the race car, so probably going to have to put shorter ones on. This side has regular length ones, but that side being the left rear, we always were putting spacers on and all that jazz, so those were longer. I got to get the plasma cutter to, I mean, I could do it with a grinder, but plasma cutter would be a lot easier. Cut that top bracket off because we don't need all that. The gears in it aren't what we want. They were for the race car. I couldn't even tell you what's in there right now, but it's what we were running, so they won't be good for the road. But I have to find a set of gears. But yeah, gotta get that top bracket cut off and get it all cleaned up and painted and put some different gears in it. But moving along, I guess. Well, we got all them brackets cut off of there on each side that we're not going to be using. So those are done. Kind of drew up the picture. Don't judge my artwork, but this is what I kind of want it to look like. Just a single cab with a little short box here. I saw several of these boxes online for sale for not a terrible price, and they looked like they were in decent shape, but just pretty simple. Basic Project Rowdy 29 Ford. Still not decided between a small block or a big block or a C6 transmission or a 5-speed, but we'll see. That's what I'm going for. But yeah, made good progress today. got work tomorrow, so I'm going to call it a day and go get showered up and get ready for work in the morning. But might tinker a little more tomorrow, not sure. If I do, I'll bring you along.